Welcome to another episode of Real Estate, Real Life, Real Live, and Real Talk with Damon the Agent. I'm your host. Hold on. I am your host, Damon the Agent. I thank you for joining me each and every Friday at 12 noon. As you all know, I always like to begin my show with a latest real estate topic. So first, let me say excuse me for my voice if it sounds a little raspy. I'm just recently getting over some congestion that I had gotten earlier in the week. But I thank you for joining me. And today is December the 29th, y'all. Today is the last day of 2023. So after the day, I'll be seeing y'all next year. So as you all know, I always like to get into my latest real estate topic, which is getting ready for 2024. Getting ready for 2024. Whether you are a buyer or you are a seller, I'm going to give you a few tidbits on some things that you should take into consideration in going into 2024 to help you get ready in the wonderful world of real estate. So let me begin with the buyers. Okay, if you are a buyer and you're looking to potentially buy your first home next year, or even to get an upgrade, an investment property, or even to downsize, here are a few things that I recommend that you work on between now and then. First of all, credit. Credit is very important when you're buying a home. Unless you have all of the cash to purchase a home straight out right, it is very, very important. So I want people to really focus on your credit. So going into the new year's, the first recommendation that I tell everyone to do is everyone gets a free annual credit report. Please, next week, order your free annual credit report so you can actually get an idea of where you are. Even if you think you know where you are, just still get it. I've always found out that the people who tend to have the higher credit scores are always aware of what's going on in their credit report. They always are looking at their credit report and their credit scores. And I've also found out that people who have challenged credit seem to never know what their credit score is. And the reason they don't never know what their credit scores is because they never look at their credit reports to see that something may be lingering on there from years ago. So I strongly recommend that you order your free annual credit report and to purchase it with your credit scores. That's the first thing that I recommend that you do. The second thing that I would suggest is to put a little bit of money per payday for a rainy day. Now, even though there are a lot of programs today that help a lot of people out with down payment and closing costs, there are some people who actually don't qualify for these programs. And the reason why they don't qualify for these programs because these programs are always income restricted, meaning if you earn over a certain amount, you do not qualify. And even though you may feel as though that you need this type of money, these guidelines were set up for a reason. So because these guidelines are set up for a reason, when you're looking to purchase a home, there is a down payment and closing costs associated with most purchases of a home. I say most because people who get VA loans, they don't have to put a down payment down, but they still have to pay closing costs. So because of these fees and these costs that are associated with it, it'll be good to just, put something aside every pay period or however often you get paid if a goal of yours is to purchase your first home or another property to do some savings. Third of all, I want people to not focus on the interest rate. In the past year, people have focused so much on interest rate, but the interest rate is not the only number that is associated when you're purchasing a home. The cost of the home, also how much your monthly mortgage payment is going to be, those are things that are very important. So I want people to focus more so on affordability rather than the interest rate. Similar to like when you buy a car. A lot of people who buy a car, they have a very high interest rate, 18%, 22%, some even higher than that. But they always say, oh, I need a car. So they look at how much they can afford to pay. I want you to focus on the same thing when it pertains to buying a house, because if you do, in the long run, it'll be profitable for you if you do. Now, those three things I want you to focus on. Now, when you get close to it and you're ready to get more educated or you want more information, I would strongly suggest for you to speak to a person such as myself or a professional lender. We can guide you when it pertains to certain things. The lenders always are the ones that you're going to have to get financed through anyway. And they are the ones who always know what the latest programs are depending on location. So I would strongly always recommend to speak with a professional lender, someone who's professional, who's been around for a while, someone who knows, you know what I'm saying, the ins and outs, knows the area that you're looking to buy in. Because, for example, if I'm going to use the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area for an example, if you're looking to buy, let's say, in Fairfax, Virginia, and you get a lender from, let's say, Columbia, Maryland, the lender in Columbia, Maryland may not necessarily know about if there are any programs in Fairfax, Virginia, if there are any programs. Lenders know what's going on in certain particular areas, so they know for a reason. So I would strongly suggest for you to speak with a realtor, such as myself. We can always guide you to these lenders that are specialized in certain areas based off your financial situation, and or speak with a professional lender, because they can also guide you when it pertains to approval amount, if you qualify for programs or not. So these are the things. And I like to always have a consultation with most buyers prior to buying a house, so I can gather more information, so I can strategically point you in the right direction. So that's if you're on the buying side. Then if you're on the selling side, there are some things that I want to sell all sellers in 2024 to take into consideration. First of all, be realistic about the price that you want for your home. We are going into 2024. The housing market in 2024 is different than it was in 2021. It is different than it was in 2015. You have to take all these things into consideration when it pertains to price. Yes, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wants the most for their home. No one wants to undersell their home. And let me explain to you, as realtors, we want to sell your house for the highest amount, because the higher it sells, the more that we get paid. But you have to be realistic about price. It's just like many people may feel on their job, they deserve more money than they're getting paid. But you're getting paid what you're getting paid for a reason. If you really deserve more money, you'll go to another job or go somewhere else. When it pertains to housing, you have to take a lot of things into consideration. Location always plays the number one role when it pertains to the prices of houses. Second of all, the condition of the home. There are so many homes that I go into that are junky, that are not up to par, they're not very clean. You know, they have a lot of clutter everywhere, but yet some homeowners think they deserve top dollar. Keep your house clutter free. Keep it clutter free. Another thing that I recommend is be honest with your realtor as far as your mortgage payment. If you're behind on your mortgage, let that be known, you know, because these things play a huge factor when it pertains to determining the price of your homes. They play a huge factor when it pertains to when people are calling the realtor about your home too. Be realistic about, you know, everything. Be honest and upfront. When you don't disclose that you're behind on your mortgage, and if you're about to go into foreclosure, that's not good for you nor your realtor. So a lot of times you set yourself up to fail when you do that. I can tell you about situations. I remember like years ago, I had a client, and he was eager to sell his home. So I put his house on the market. The same day I put his house on the market, he got a contract. He signed the contract. Then he telling me, this is like on a Monday, he's telling me on this Friday that his house is going to auction. And I'm like, why did you wait to the last moment? And why didn't you say anything to me before? So even when I reached out to the bank, the mortgage company, they were still moving forward with the auction. If he would at least called me at least a month in advance, we could have sold his home. So please be honest when you're talking to your realtor about if you're behind on payments or not. And then also, if you have tenants or loved ones living in the house, please disclose to them that you're actually putting the house on the market. Because once the house do go on the market, it is not fair to them when people are just coming in the house. And even though they're supposed to sign off on something saying that they are aware and allowing people to come in and everything, but it's not fair to them sometimes when, let's say, the seller signs off on things and then they just going to sell their property, and the realtor, you know, sometimes get caught up in certain situations. So please always disclose to your loved ones or whoever's in the house that you're selling that the house is going on the market, because sometimes it'll eliminate frictions and things of that nature. So these are a little here and there tidbits to take into consideration going into 2024, because in 2024, we all want more and we want to make it great, and it's never too late. So I just wanted to share that. So I'm going to come back with my Q&A session, y'all. That's my questions and answers. So if you have any questions when it pertains to real estate that you'd like to ask, feel free to ask them. I'll be right back. right, y'all. I am back. Let me check the list out real quick for Q&A. And this is the last Friday of I'm sorry, I got him. This is the last Friday of 2023. So let's begin with our questions. Okay, the first question is, how many times can you refinance? How many times can you refinance? That's a good question. You can refinance as long as you have equity in your home. You can refinance as often as you want. If you don't have equity in your home, take into consideration you're going to have to pay closing costs. But you can refinance as long as you have equity in your home. Meaning, if you refinance today, you can't do it next week. But after 30, 60 days, you can refinance again if you feel the need. But you're going to pay closing costs each time that you refinance, and you're actually resetting your loan when you refinance. So take into consideration that, let's say you have a mortgage, because everyone understands that when you first get a mortgage, it's a 30-year mortgage. So let's say you've been paying on your mortgage for 15 years, and then you decide to refinance. Of course, your mortgage balance is going to be lower after paying on the 15 years. So of course, your monthly payments are going to be lower as well. But what happens is, you've been paying on for 15 years, now you have 15 left. What happens is you reset it to 30 years in most cases. So your loan resets when you refinance, and you pay closing costs with that. So you can refinance as many times as you want, as long as you have equity in your property. What's the pros and cons of refinancing? The pros is, if you can get a lower interest rate, that's a pro, because a lot of people tend to refinance because of interest rate. You can also pull money out of your property. That's a pro. A con would be just basically your loan resetting, and you're paying closing costs again. So you're paying closing costs and your loan resetting. Those are the cons to to refinancing. But the pros to refinancing is getting a lower interest rate and pulling money out of your equity. Do you think people know that when they refinance, it resets the time on the mortgage? I don't really know what people know. It should be explained though when a person refinances that the loan is being reset, meaning that the 30 mortgage begins over, whether you refinance after a year or you refinance after 25 years, you're resetting that mortgage. Now, like I mentioned, of course, because the mortgage balance is lower, your mortgage payment, of course, is going to be lower because they're stretching it out over that time period. But you know, do people know? I don't know what people know, but they should know because it should be explained to them. Okay. What would be a reason to get a second mortgage on a home? A reason to get a second mortgage on a home is if you're doing something like a HELOC, and a HELOC is basically when you're pulling equity from your home, but you're not refinancing. You're just actually putting another lien against it. It's like a line of credit. A HELOC is actually called a home equity line of credit. That's what HELOC means. So that's a second lien. So to get a reason to get a second lien is if you want to pull money, but at the same time, you don't want to pay closing costs and you don't want your mortgage to reset. That would be a great reason to get a second lien against the property. The second mortgage against the property. Let me see if I have any more questions. Those are very good questions. I appreciate all your questions. And like I previously mentioned before, sometimes your questions are being asked, but they're being asked by you. But at the same time, though, other people may have that same thought, but they're just not thinking about it, or they're not asking the question otherwise. Okay, let me see. And also, while I'm looking for these questions, please don't forget to follow me on all social media platforms. I am on everything, y'all. I am on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Threads, Pinterest. So I'm on virtually everything. So please follow me on all social media platforms. Damon the Agent. Okay, so let me see. I think I have one more question right here. All right, do you think that the housing market will crash anytime soon? Do you think that the housing market will crash anytime soon? Well, here's the thing. That's a great question, and I know some people are waiting for the housing market to crash, but I wouldn't hold my breath. At the same time, though, here's the thing to take into consideration when it pertains to the housing market. The housing market coincides with the economy. If the economy is doing well, people are going to be able to afford to buy. So as long as there's affordability for people to purchase, I don't see it crashing. Now, if we hit a recession, or we're nearing a recession, yes, I see it crashing. So how the economy flows is going to determine how the housing market goes. Okay, how the economy flows is going to determine how the housing market goes. So when I say that, I'm just saying to you, do I think the housing market is going to crash anytime soon? I'm not a prediction of the economy. So if we go into a recession, yeah, there's a possibility. Foreclosures are going to dramatically increase because people are not going to be able to afford to pay their mortgage. And then, when that happens, prices are going to not go up. They're going to stagger. And depending on location, in some areas, they're going to go down. So a lot of it always goes back to economics when it pertains to location and jobs. In the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, when the housing market did crash in 2008, our prices didn't really fall off in DC. In Maryland, they did, but they didn't really fall off in DC because the local federal government and the district government were always still going because of the job, ecosystem in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Now, other areas where, let's say in the Midwest, where they're really affected, depending on how the economy goes, yeah, prices will take a plummet in certain areas. So real estate, like I mentioned before, is always about location, location, location. So if you're looking in the DC, Maryland, Virginia, for the housing market to crash, even if the market crashed, it does not mean that, excuse me, it does not mean that the price of houses are going to drop so significantly low. So what you have to take into consideration is $1 million homes going to foreclosure. And when $1 million home goes into foreclosure, it doesn't mean that $1 million home is going to sell for 100,000 after it was priced at $1 million. No, it might sell for 600 or 700,000 and then foreclose, but that's still more than some people can actually afford. So when it pertains to houses and everything, I always said, and just like I just previously mentioned, to focus on affordability, whatever you can afford. And I always strongly suggest that when it pertains to affordability, it coincides to what your income is. You know what you can afford. So those were great questions, y'all. I really always thank you all and appreciate the questions that you all ask, because these questions come from the left, right, east, south, north, and west. But I thank you all for all these questions. So if you always have any more questions, please always feel free to send them to me. Hold on, and I'm going to come back with my topic of the day and of the final one of the year, y'all. I'll be right back. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. So again, like I said, please follow me on all social media platforms. I'm going to mention them again: Threads, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok. I'm on all of them as /Damon the Agent. That's DAMON You can also find me on my website, DamonTheAgent.com. All right, y'all. My topic of today is going to be 2024 goals. Okay, 2024 goals. The reason why I want to talk about your 2024 goals is because of the fact that going into the new year, people always have resolutions. People always have what they're going to do, what they're not tolerating in the next year. I'm not tolerating this. I got a new attitude. I got this, da da da. It's so much when it pertains to New Year's resolution. So I just want people to focus on certain things when it pertains to goal setting in 2024. Okay. If for those who do vision board, do a vision board. If you haven't done a vision board yet, it's not too late. Today is the 29th. Even if you do it next week, it's still never too late to do anything. So focus on a vision board. Do a vision board. Print out things off the internet. Have some ideas. But I also want you all to write down all of your goals for 2024. I want you to write them down. But here's something that I want you to do. I want you to also get an accountability partner, because the fact that a lot of times when you get an accountability partner, they hold you to certain things. A lot of times we write down goals. Oh yeah, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to earn a certain amount of money. I'm going to start this business. I'm going to dump this person. I'm going to do all these things. You say it in your head and you might write it down. And then after the first week or the first month of January, you never come back to it. So I want you all also to get an accountability partner when it pertains to your goal setting for 2024. Now, again, do the vision board. Do your vision board, because I want you all to put that somewhere, either in your office or in your house, somewhere that you're going to see it every day. So if you know you don't go into the office much, put it in your house. If you go in the office most of the time, put it in your office. Do your vision board. Write out your goal. But I also want you to, with your goals, I want you to focus on just the fact that when you have a goal and you have no purpose, then you really just have a dream. And I want to say that again. When you have a goal and you have no purpose, you really just have a dream. See, so many people have these goals. They write down, oh, I want to lose weight. Okay. Why do you want to lose weight? Do you want to lose weight because you want a summer body? Do you want to lose weight because you want to wear that outfit? Do you want to lose weight because you want to look good naked, or whatever your excuse or reason for wanting to lose weight? But some people say, oh, I just want to lose weight. I want to lose 10 pounds. No real reason. So they'll begin the journey and then they might lose 2 pounds, but they never get to 10 pounds. So I'm just saying, you have to have a purpose attached to your goal. So when you write your goals down, I want you to have a purpose written to your goal. Have a purpose, a reasoning, your why. Okay. Goals have to be attached with a purpose, because when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I say that in the utmost respect, that a lot of us do it. We always, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But we don't end up realizing later on, we end up failing at what we planned on doing because we didn't plan it. We didn't plan it correctly. So we actually planned to fail, when we didn't even realize it. So subconsciously, I want us to go into 2024 with certain goals on what we're going to do. And even myself, I'm doing it now. I'm working on my vision board now. I'm writing down my goals now. I really don't have an accountability partner, but I'm going to get one. So again, these are the things that I want us to focus on when it pertains to goal setting. And I also want us to review your goals every month. See, it's not good enough to just, oh, January began, then February is Valentine's Day, everybody in love, you forgot your goals and stuff because you started working out in January, you lost 5 pounds, so you were starting to look attractive to somebody. You got a new date now in February, so you're going out to eat every weekend. Next thing you know, you done gained more than the 10 pounds that you was trying to lose. Now you done gained 15 pounds, but then you forgot that in the beginning of the year that your goal was to lose weight. And that's because we get distracted so easily. We get distracted in work. We get distracted with family. We get distracted with social media. We get distracted so easily that it takes time away from the things that we should be focusing on. So again, here are the things that I want us to focus on. Number 1 is a vision board. Do a vision board. Number 2, write down what your goals are for 2024. Number 3, have a purpose attached to your goals. Number 4, get an accountability partner when it pertains to your goals for 2024. And number 5, review your goals every month, because your goals without a purpose and plan is just a dream. How many times have you thought about doing something and you saw somebody else who did it? How many times have you thought about going somewhere and you see people on social media somewhere where you said you wanted to go? How many times have you thought about doing things and you never did it? And years have gone by. What's 20? It's about to be 2024. Some of you can go back to before COVID, 2020, or even before then when it was 2015, and you all were supposed to do so much, but in these 9 years or 4 years, you haven't done anything. And part of it is because there's no purpose associated to your goal, and you have no accountability partner. And when I say get accountability partner, I'm not talking about get you one that's going to be lenient and try to give you excuses, because sometimes we associate ourselves with people who are going to justify our behavior. No, get you an accountability partner who's going to hold you accountable. That, you know what I'm saying, to the point where it might be uneasy. See, that's the only way we grow as human beings, is we have somebody who, you know what I'm saying, is making sure that we are going and align on our focus and our journey. It's always easy to get attached to somebody who's going to, you know what I'm saying, compliment or justify our BS. But you need somebody who's going to be real with you and tell you the truth about what's going on in your life. So get you an accountability partner when it pertains to anything. If you're working out, you got trainers, they're accountability partners. You know, if you have goals, business goals, you have people that you work with, you know, they're accountability partners. You know, you got loved ones that can possibly be accountability partners. If you have no one, please, you have someone, because everybody can get someone, everybody can get someone. You know, this might not be the person you want, but there are all types of, there are even life coaches out here. You can get you a life coach when it pertains to anything. So going in 2024, y'all, the goal is to get a vision board, even in the next week, to write your goals down for 2024. I don't care if it's to dump somebody, to get a girlfriend or boyfriend, write it down. Have a purpose attached to it, your reasoning for it, okay? Get that accountability partner, all right? And review your goals every month. Every month, review your goals. That's the only way to achieve your goals, okay? So I want us to focus on that on 2024. So I'm about to do a recap right now. And again, please follow me on all social media platforms. I'm going to say it again, but y'all know I am on everything. Hold on one second. All right, you all. Thank you again for joining me always, each and every Friday. Today is Friday, December the 29th. This is the last Friday of 2023, and I will be joining you for the first Friday in 2024 next week. Please make sure that you will follow me on all social media platforms, please, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, LinkedIn, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Pinterest. I'm on them all, y'all. So please follow me. And I'm going to do a quick recap. Recap is getting ready for the 2024 housing market. Okay. If you're a buyer, I strongly recommend you working on your credit, working on your saving, focus on affordability, talking to a real estate professional such as myself, and also talking to a lender professional. I can guide you to one if you don't already know one. If you're selling, I suggest you be realistic about the asking price of your home, to be honest and upfront when it pertains to your payment and your mortgage amount if you're behind. Also, to let anyone who's living in a home with you know that you possibly plan on selling, to have your house in the best possible condition as possible. Clutter free is always what we ask. And to also, just understand that the higher your house sell for, the more we agents get paid. So these things would definitely help. Okay. And then I did my Q&A, was mainly asking about refinance. I explained and broke down things that when it pertains to refinancing, you reset your loan. And people have to still pay closing costs when you refinance. So, and then the pros and cons was a question as well. What are the pros and cons? Pros is you get a lower interest rate, you take equity out your home. Cons is you reset your loan and and what's the other one? You reset your loan and that it's spread out throughout the whole course of the mortgage. And then also when it what's the last thing? Oh yeah, my 2024 goals. Yes, 2024 goals. The vision board. Have the vision board, write them down, attach a purpose to it, have an accountability partner, and review every month. Hey, y'all, I want to thank you all for joining me each and every Friday. I want to wish everyone a happy New Year, happy 2024. Please be safe on New Year's Eve, everyone. Be safe out there, whatever you do, going to 2024, and everyone get more. Thank you all for joining me. I'll see you next week. Rather, I'll see you next year.